What it do? What it do? What's up, y'all? It's your boy Baki back with another one. Got my boy Dougie on it. You know what it is. Let's get it. All right. So this time we're going to be talking about the finale of the Blade series.
The Godfather 3 of the Blade trilogy.
Yes.
The Matrix Revolutions of the Blade trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
The Return of the Jedi of the Blade.
Who could be?
The Alien 3 of the Blade trilogy.
Very true. It's a very polarizing film, and I could see why. But I will say this.
Not without its merits.
It's true. Very true. It's very well deserving of that. You got Wesley Snipes pretty much being an asshole from what we've all heard throughout the world, right? Yep. So the production...
Which he denies, of course.
Of course. But the production in general was already
Everyone else says otherwise.
Mm-hmm. Production is a little bit shaded and jaded already from the jump. So you're already at a weird situation when you're getting...
I understand where he's coming from. He was having tax issues at the time. He's probably just a little cranky.
He's probably angry. And David Goyer directed this one too, right?
Directorial debut. Now, let's not forget, this is the guy that helped write the screenplays for the Dark Knight trilogy, Batman versus Superman, I think.
He did Blade as well, right?
Yep.
The original Blade.
Yeah, I think Justice League too.
I think he did all. Did he do all three? Because I know
he wrote all three.
I know he wrote all three, right?
Yes. Yeah. He directed it. So he wrote, and so Wesley Snipes didn't know that he was directing when he signed on to do it, and he didn't read the screenplay first. So then he found out Goyer was doing it, and he read the script, and he was like, "Man, this is kind of terrible."
Right.
But I think they could have pulled something off. Okay,
I agree.
Let's start with let's do the good and the bad and the ugly.
Okay.
So we'll start with the good. So what's the positive?
Bro, the premise is awesome. It's the best premise.
Dracula.
Well, no, forget the Dracula.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
The opening premise before the whole Dracula thing, like Dracula is the opening premise, but after that, what you initially see is the vampire setting up Blade to shoot a human in the fucking streets, man. And to me, that is genius, bro. That's such a premise. And they fucking dropped the ball. They dropped the ball. But it's such a genius premise because you put Blade in this weird situation where he's got to deal with
Blade.
cops and he's got to deal with the other side.
I love that part where, what's her name that plays...
The vampire chick?
Yeah, what's her name?
I forgot, dude.
Oh, Blade. When she's watching the footage of Blade running away from the police.
Right.
Oh, Blade.
Right.
Oh, Blade.
It's ridiculous. But it's a great premise, though, and that shit is pretty fucking good.
There are some good lines in this movie, especially from Triple H, is it? When, after the failed attempt to capture Blade from the FBI, I guess. So they're at the fucking high-rise headquarters, and Triple H pulls his fucking arrow out of his eye while they're all complaining that he fucking got away. And someone says, "We almost it was going well," or like, "We almost had him," or something. And Triple H goes, "Yeah, it was going great until they fucking ass raped us."
Yeah, that shit was hilarious.
Down. Pants down? They pretty much fucking ass raped us.
Oh, you loved it.
It's got some decent moments in it, to be honest. You know, the music's pretty good too, and I like some of the cinematography.
So if you were if you were an Indian vampire, you'd be like allergic to saffron or some shit. Good one, my friend.
Yeah, like they
sounds good to me.
It definitely has its moments, and what sucks is if they would have kept, they shouldn't have did the Dracula thing. Like, Dracula's a cool idea, right? But like, they're pretty much 1 and 2 when it comes to final fights in the Blade series, right? Like Nomak versus Blade, amazing. Then you got Dracula versus Blade. It's like, ugh. And then you had Blade versus Deacon Frost, and that's also a fight. You know what I mean? Like it's, you know what I mean? But like, if they would have got rid of Dracula and just kept that fucking premise where Blade has to basically like find a way to almost get his innocence, but like mix it around, because the real talk, if you think about it, Dracula is only created at the end to be the body double for Blade. So they can just close that case. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
So in a weird way, like Dracula isn't really needed, but if they would have just kept with that awesome
We're
ass
still trying
premise,
to focus on just the good.
You're right. But I'm just talking about if they would have kept
Okay.
that. That's what I'm saying though. Like if they would have kept that awesome premise where Blade is just on the run against vampires and he's against the law, you would have had a fucking great situation there. That's like, it starts off so fucking well, honestly. Like that's the thing, is it hits that fucking note and I'm like,
See, but the problem is it's a victim of its own groundwork where the cops and the vampires are in cahoots, right? You know, but I don't know. So what else was good about this movie?
I like Blade's outfits and I like his gadgets he has. He has some pretty badass. I like the gadgets in general in this one. They upped the gadget ante for sure. I noticed that, okay, so like in the first Blade, he has the fucking spike pins where he gets them put into him from Glenn, right? And fucking there's a ball on the ones now, like so he can like knuckle it in, dude. Like it's actually like he's like redefining his gadgets even as they're going forward. You know what I mean? The little way he pops in the serum gadget, you know what I mean? There's just the tiny little details like that show you that they were trying to make it that, but it almost becomes like a Blade Bond movie at that point.
How about the acting? It felt like it was pretty well acted.
I didn't mind the acting at all. I didn't mind the acting. Yeah, there's no real bad problems with acting. I think across the board, the acting hasn't really been the problem across any of the Blade movies.
All right, so let's move on to the bad.
And bro, halfway through the movie, they just forget that this motherfucker is like wanted by the police. Like, I don't know, bro. Like, they just lost me at that shit, man. And what else I think is weird too is, so like the Reaper gene was the first gene of vampire then. No?
I forget.
Because he's a Reaper, right? Like Dracula, he has the jaw that opens like Reapers do.
He did.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I thought the Reaper gene was like a
I thought it was created in the lab.
Thing.
Exactly. So how's it created in the lab? But Dracula has it. Dracula even smacks him with the same tongue. He smacks Blade with it. Bow.
That is true.
He opens it up. So apparently the Reaper gene is like a deeper gene inside of it. And dude, they could have just had that kind of dialogue. Oh, that's something else I like about this movie though, is dude, the dialogue again gives you that little bit of exploration for lore. You know, where they had like the hieroglyphics on the fucking wall and like just a little bit of just tiny bits of exploration where they go to the farm and they see the fucking farm of all the fucking people being put in comas and shit. Like that shit again gives you that little bit of brain tease to think about later on after the movie's done. You know what I mean? Like how far were they really running the shit? Because he said they had one in every city. He's like, there's a major one of these in every fucking city. Blade's just in New York or wherever the fuck he is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's a crazy situation like that. That was something else that I thought was actually really good. Is they went back into the exploration of it all instead of the visual like Blade 2. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I don't know. It just has so many like meh moments and you can just feel that it's not Wesley. The cuts.
Yeah, like he's just fucking like sleepwalking to the whole fucking movie.
Right. Because apparently, like, I guess when he did interviews for the original Blade, he stayed in Blade like when he was doing the interviews.
Well, on those scenes, like when he first gets introduced to the Night Stalkers and he's looking around at everybody, you can genuinely feel that he's really not acting. He's literally fucking looking around going like, what the fuck did I do?
Right.
For this fucking movie.
Right.
What, you amateurs are supposed to be helping me? You? Look at you. You're kids. You're not ready to roll with this. I mean, look at the way you dressed.
But that's supposed to be tactical? What is this? What is that? Fuck you. It's a joke, huh? The fuck is wrong with you? You think this is a joke?
But okay, so for me, the negative aspects of this movie are it definitely lacks that intensity of the first two films, and I think the first film is a little bit more intense than the second one. But I don't know, it's debatable. But this one just seems so tame, and during a lot of the fight scenes, especially with Jessica Biel's character and Ryan Reynolds' character, it felt very like music video-esque. You know, like it was trying to be like new wave or fucking, and it just was kind of lame. And the production value, okay, so the production value for the first Blade movie, they really kind of stretched their buck, honestly. And the second movie, they obviously had a much bigger budget and they used it wisely. But with this movie, it seems like they just cut back on the budget very severely, and everything had a very, like the opening titles looked very like
New Line Cinema.
A lot of the shit in this movie,
New Line Cinema presents, and it just like pauses the gray and shit. I was like, that's so ugly.
Yeah, it seemed very like somebody put this fucking movie together on their laptop, like in an afternoon or something, you know. And yeah, you can just tell that Snipes is not into it at all, and there's too many scenes that just make the movie drag. Like the scene where they come back and they're looking around, and the blind chick is dead, and use it. That's just like, ugh.
Yeah, and Ryan Reynolds' jokes really don't hit at all. And I think it's funny because, like, I guess they wanted you to kind of feel like Blade, maybe? Like, because Blade was so tired of that dude, bro. Like, and he never, the one thing I give credit to is, like, he never, like, gave him dap or nothing like that. You know what I mean? It was kind of just like, I don't give a fuck about you, even to the end, bro.
To the very end.
To the very end. You're still like, fuck you. You know, I'm not, you're not going to have Blade give this man dap, bro. Blade don't pay taxes. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and then it ended just so abruptly, and it was just.
It really did, the whole thing. And what I'm wondering is, so is there no more vampires at all?
Guess not. And the absolute worst part of this movie was they completely fucked up the mythology behind who Dracula is.
Right.
And it was just very.
They made him seem Egyptian. No?
They were like, he was known as Dagon. That's like some Lovecraftian shit right there. So they just kind of, it was like a mishmash of bad fucking like.
And if you think about it, like, what the fuck even was Dracula? Like, we got no information on that fucker, bro. Like,
and that shit, like, his whole thing was very like TV, made for TV movie.
What the fuck even was his game plan?
Okay, like. They didn't even do like the fucking cheesy Alien versus Predator like flashback fucking information dump, dude. They showed like this distorted picture of him in his vampire form that just looked like some fucking shit someone did on their laptop.
Yeah, like some CG stupid shit.
It was some degrade shit, honestly.
What is Dracula's plan though? They were just scared that Dracula was just back, huh? That's the whole thing. It's just we got to get rid of Dracula. And then it's really more that. So, like, if you think about it, the bad guys fucked themselves over by bringing Dracula back. If they never would have brought Dracula back, then vampires would have kept living forever. But when they revived Dracula, they
doomed themselves.
Yes, because that chick, the blind chick, found that fucking energy to fucking, or the fucking, you know, she found that strain or whatever in Dracula, and she's like, if we can get this in him, then it'll kill everybody.
It seemed like there was a lot of, like, the cast was very tense around Wesley Snipes, like in those Night Stalker scenes.
Yeah.
Definitely picked up that vibe, but it's just like one of those movies that never really gets going. It's just like you're sitting there waiting for it. You just realize like halfway through it that it's like, oh, this movie sucks.
Because I'm telling you, that when they drop the ball, dude, is that fucking premise. The premise is so strong, dude. Like, If they would have just killed off the Dracula thing, that's another thing that's good too. If we want to talk about one more thing I think is good. Okay, so let's talk about the openings of Blade. Since this is Trinity, we can talk a little bit about all of them, right? You got the first Blade movie, which I think has probably the best opening, which is him in the nightclub fucking Shrek and shit, right? Then you have the second Blade movie, which is him going to find Whistler. That one is mediocre as fuck. This is the only Blade movie where he uses his fucking car. Besides in the first Blade movie where he tails the guy. Like, he actually uses the car as a weapon and even has the UV lights on that shit and hits it on and fucking shreds him.
That part wasn't bad.
It was great. It's the opening. That's what I'm saying. Like, that opening premise is great, bro.
Let's actually watch the two scenes that, to me, from Dark Knight Rises and this movie are identical. And they're just kind of weird, obscure fucking scenes.
Which scene is it?
The scene where Blade catches the guy that turns out to be human, and the scene where Batman catches the guy that tried to get away from the Wall Street fucking heist. Those two scenes have like the very same feel, like location, shots, and all that weird shit.
Oh yeah.
Staked you with silver. Why aren't you Ash?
Why aren't you smarter? Not a vampire, dumb shit! Set your sorry ass up.
A disappointing third act.
Yes, sure. That's for sure. Definitely the worst third act of them all. Because I think, again, the first Blade, the third act is mixed. To me, the lead up to Deacon Frost is amazing, and then the fight between Deacon Frost and Blade is just
Iron Man 3
right.
Blade movies.
Right. It's just like that lead up is really good. Then you fight Deacon Frost, and it's like really it's a minute and a half long. Deacon does a dumbass dragon crane leap, and then he's just got needles lit up in him. You know what I'm saying? And then you go to Blade 2, and it's the opposite. Well, actually, it's not the opposite. Blade 2's third act is just phenomenal. That's the best thing about Blade 2 is this whole third act is great. You got all the fighting, all the fight scenes, and then you got that amazing fight scene between Blade and Nomak. But the third act in this movie is like, what the fuck is even going on? Bro, and then the scene with the baby was terrible, bro.
It is more likely the next time we meet, you fall before mine. Touch!
Dude, what about the scene where he goes into the Dracula store?
Yeah, and he's like come on, he's like,
for starters, he's dressed like a fucking queer bag, dude. I would have thought he was dressed kind of like a gay stripper.
He's dressed very weird
at a party, you know?
Yeah, he's dressed weird, extremely weird.
Just
actually.
very, like amateur, dude, where he's walking. And it's like a music video, dude.
He was so stiff. Yeah, they even had the same like him walking slow while everyone else walks fast around him. Music video shit, bro.
Yeah,
like
it was just very
dumb, man. They used it in such a stupid way. Like
David S. Goyer should not have directed that movie.
Mm-mm. And I honestly think they could have wrote it and did it better. And what's crazy is this movie's just as long as the other Blade movies, but it feels like it's short as fuck. Like, I don't know. Like there's, 3 major big set pieces that happen? If that, right? You got the opening scene, then you got them finding out about him initially.
If you think about it, dude, the Night Stalkers were like just a teenage version of the team he was with in the second one.
Which was also whack too, because it's again this Whistler shit when Whistler died in the first movie.
Oh, that's right. It was Whistler's daughter. Huh?
Oh my god, all this Whistler
That's
shit.
right. He died, and then
he brought him back in the second movie.
So technically, the second movie's kind of whack in that aspect too.
That's exactly why I knocked the second movie, because Whistler died. There was a definitive. He went.
Like that's
on.
why he
right, and he
like.
He even kept going.
Yeah,
like.
him getting him at the beginning of the second one kind of like reneges on the whole scene where he fucking kills himself.
Exactly. And
Get
it's
out
like,
of here, you stupid son of a bitch.
And how does that work? You know what I'm saying? If you're in a situation where like there was still an hour left of that movie where Whistler fucking killed himself, bro. That was like that was in the middle. And then he went on, for the third act. That's the beginning of the third act right there. So he came home at least one more time, and you telling me that they came and kidnapped Whistler from the spot where they just beat his ass?
See,
like what?
What made the first Blade so good was that they didn't have a budget for that movie, and that fucking movie was done all in the editing bay, I think, man. Like, it was just but it's a very kinetic movie. Like, the scenes where they're having like the fight in the fucking room with all the glass, and he's throwing a bitch in the glass.
Quiet.
Bro, it's just like there's so much intense shit going on in every shot of this film. And they had no budget for that movie. And it's just crazy that guy went on to direct League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. And I don't really think that was his. I don't think that was really his fault, though. That was pretty much Fox.
That was it, bro. He's done after that, bro. It's crazy also if you think about it. Like the movies to me go Blade 1, Blade 2, Blade 3.
Well, the third film was like the antithesis of the first one in the respect that they had this huge scope that they wanted to do. And they had no fucking budget. Whereas in the first Blade, they had no budget, but they fucking... It was kind of like with the old Star Wars trilogy, where they didn't really show you anything. They just kind of briefly mentioned the Empire and the Emperor and all that shit.
Right.
Where Frost was like, or fucking Blade is like, yeah, vampires rule the world. So you just... they have this room full of these vampires sitting around a long table, and this is it. That's all. The third fucking movie was just so ambitious, and they didn't have the money to back up the ambition.
It's kind of, like you said, it's the Matrix Revolution.
Yeah, it started out with this grandiose fucking tone with them landing in Egypt or wherever the fuck they were and going in this tomb. They probably spent their whole budget on that scene.
Right. They blew it all right there.
Yeah.
I think that's about it, man. You got anything else? Any other final?
I think we should lay this trilogy to rest.
That is it, man.
Stake
for
it in the
Blade, bro. If you ask, it goes Blade, Blade 2, Blade 3 in that order, baby. Like it's.
We don't even have to really. Can you watch Blade 1 and 2 and just forget Blade 3?
Yes. You can forget Blade 3. There's no point to watch Blade 3. The opening premise is amazing, but they never follow through on it. They arrest him, and it's like after he gets out that one time, Blade's just back on the streets. they don't even mention it, bro. So yeah, just like they don't mention it, we don't mention it. Blade 1, Blade 2, that's what it do. It's your boy Baki and Dougie. We out on this one. Peace.